E.
An Italian reading an eye chart. Hey.
This is Anil and Aaron and Kyle.
Thanks for announcing us.
Yeah.
Got a mouth.
Yeah,
he does. Alright, so I got a cool topic.
Alright.
Kittens.
Real fast. In your opinion, what makes a video game scary?
I would say like the atmosphere, like sounds. The biggest thing for me.
Sounds are the biggest thing.
Yeah.
So graphics doesn't matter.
Doesn't really have to.
No.
Because like if I could hear like something like whisper in my ear, like a random
So you have to wear
place,
headphones.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to go on a totally different tangent of that, and I'm going to say the punishment for failing in scary games. Because you don't know when it's going to happen. I mean, if you lose, you die. You have to restart at a different, place way back in the game.
So just having to replay parts of the game is what makes it scary?
Okay.
So like Super Mario Brothers is terrifying every time you die?
Another mouth.
When you recapped that information, it sounded terrible. Let me rethink. Go ahead. Let me rethink how I want to word it.
No, you're talking like the genre of what
makes it what makes a scary game scary? Why are you scared of it? That's what I want to know.
Because you don't know what's coming next.
But let's say you do know what's coming next.
Then I'm probably not as scared. Give me an example where I know what's coming next and I'm scared.
Like, you fought your way all the way through this cave, and you know by the big boss doors right there, and you know the boss is behind that door. But you don't know what he looks like. You don't know how to beat it. Things have been jumping out at you left and right. You've had a few jumps.
They don't make games like that nowadays. Like they hold your hand through every aspect.
But
of
I still think that it's like the fear of unknowing. Still, you know what I mean? Like even though you know you're gonna fight a boss, you still don't know, like you said, what it's gonna look like.
That's true. I'd agree with
whatever.
that.
I think that's like the biggest thing, like in life in general. To be honest, like
another thing. I'm gonna go back to like Diablo 1. What made that scary because it was bloody and gory, but it had things that like really happened like back in like medieval times. Like there's one room where you got to find the butcher, like this big dude who's trying to kill you, and there's his bodies hanging from poles, like skewered straight through them, and like that's scary. Like that's an intimidation factor.
I'm gonna Google that right now for you.
Fucking clock.
Diablo butcher. Oops.
Dude, but doesn't the butcher makes an appearance in Diablo 2?
Yeah, like click on that image right there where you can see, like, imagine playing the game and you seeing all those.
Does he say fresh meat?
Yeah, he goes. Fresh meat.
That's
when he opens.
That's an Easter egg to something. I'm trying to remember.
I mean, this came out in 95 or 96 or something.
It's some newer game. It's the name of an achievement.
Well, then that must be an Easter egg from this.
You fight. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You fight. I think it might be Castlevania. The newest one, Lords of Shadow, the first one, where you fight a guy called the Butcher, and I think the achievement's called Fresh Meat.
Wow, really?
Yeah, that's from.
Well, I mean, I think it kind of like correlates with the whole thing.
Well, it's an homage.
And for those who have never played the game, if you Google images Diablo Butcher, I mean, you're gonna see a diamond-shaped room with just covered in blood and skewers and bodies hanging from it, and that scared the crap out of me. I opened the door,
younger,
and you hear that demonic voice say that, and he comes running after you. I'm freaking out at this point. I pooped my pants a couple times. Like, I broke 2 computers because I flipped them over. I was so scared.
But to be fair, though, you get scared easily, though.
Yeah, I really do. But that's okay. It makes the game that much more enjoyable for me, I guess. But, like, that's an image that was scary for me.
So
because it's something that has things like that have happened in history before, and you can imagine it actually happening.
Right. So, on that point, would you say it's nice one? It's a feeling that it leaves you even after the game is off.
Yes.
Is that what makes it scary? Is that
because it's like a mind game. Because like I said, like sounds. Like if I hear the same sound somewhere else, I'm like, what the fuck?
I've
heard it before somewhere, so it's like, oh crap.
It's psychology right there.
Right.
Yeah, you associate that sound with a bad thing happening. Right.
See, I think a lot of games now aren't as scary, in my opinion. Not only because I'm older, but because, like what you were saying, they hold your hand through everything.
Yeah, there's no mystery. Like, you don't get to explore anything on your own.
Everything that they try to make scary
Excuse me.
seems to be something supernatural.
Yeah.
I think when you're older, you can differentiate the, virtual reality and reality. It's a child that's much harder. You're still scared of the thing under your bed. You're still scared of the closet. Like in your case, it could be the butcher in your closet, and you're fucking scared.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah, in your 20s, you know what I'm scared of? Running out of money. You know what I'm saying?
I'm scared of my car breaking down.
Right. Yeah.
Bills?
So,
Oh
until we come out with
job.
Life, the real game, not the board game.
Business Simulator 2013. You
Right.
might fuck up.
Exactly. And I'm going to be like, oh, shit, I'm supposed to be at work at 8 o'clock. And
Right.
and then
I haven't had my coffee today.
I got to press A to run to the bus stop.
Shit,
Right.
missed the
You know what I'm
bus.
saying? Like,
It's like a whole like flash sequence. You hit X instead of A, you miss the bus. Like,
Right.
ah! Johnson, you're late. You're fired. Oh.
So, on that line, on this whole thing, Anil, what is, in your opinion, the scariest game you have played?
Oh man.
I mean, dive into it. Really think about it for a moment. I don't want to hear you in 5 minutes go, I
I feel like I have to think about this one because I don't know. When I was younger.
Sure. Yeah, younger, that's fine.
Yeah, when I was younger, I was scared of the Predator game.
Which one?
I can't remember which one it was.
For PlayStation?
No, it was for NES, I think.
Oh.
The original Predator game?
I think so, yeah.
8-bit?
Where like he's wearing like a pink suit and you're
Yeah,
jumping?
dude, I don't know why.
That
when I was
music's
younger,
kinda
yeah,
weird.
like I said, the sound's like a huge thing for me. So plus I saw the movie, so I kept thinking of like things from the movie and then the game. Like, oh fuck, you know what I mean?
I used to hate the second one on Sega
I
Genesis.
don't think I ever played the second one.
It was a top-down, and it would like the Predator's like triangle thing, like the laser beam, the
Like the
laser
target
sight,
or
whatever the
whatever,
target
yeah.
thing. It would scan over the level, and what you had to do is you had to rescue hostages because it was
Oh,
in like
really?
the city, like in the second movie.
With
And-
Danny Glover?
Yes,
Yeah.
you were Danny Glover. in
Oh,
the
no
game.
way.
And-
Good old Danny Glover, man. What is he up to today?
So what would happen is if you didn't get to a hostage in time, the I'll say crosshairs, whatever,
Yeah.
would go over them. He would shoot the hostage, and they would like explode, and body parts would fly towards the screen like an eyeball, and it was
Oh,
a bloody
man.
mess, and they'd scream.
Gross.
And I just remember that scaring the crap out of me as a kid.
Yeah.
And I would never play it. Like it was just, it was
Yeah.
weird. But it was always, for me, it was always games that either I had never played, so I would make the game up in my brain.
Like make up what's going
Your
to happen next.
You're
and
right.
you
Your
expect it.
imagination is way more terrifying than anything that's reality.
Right.
So I remember when I would get like before they had things like Game Informer or Nintendo Power and stuff. They had what was called Game Players Magazine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I had a
Creative.
subscription to that. Yeah,
Game
we're-
Players Magazine.
Cheaters Magazine of
Okay.
games. Like, oh, yeah.
and they had covered a thing on Splatterhouse,
Oh,
which
yeah.
back in the day they didn't have a
Oh.
rating system. You
Oh,
know,
yeah,
it was
yeah.
just
Are
kind
you
of like
talking the original? The original
I think it
Splatterhouse?
was 2 or 3
2 or 3.
because it was not the original. But I remember when the original came out, it was kind of like they didn't have a rating system implemented.
That was a gory game too.
Right,
That was a
but it was
gory
like
game for
the
its
store.
time.
The store knew not to sell it to a kid. You had to be a
Yeah.
certain age, or a parent had to buy it.
That's how it was when I bought Diablo. That I had
Really?
to my mom buy it for me. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No,
My
it's
apologies.
But I remember seeing screenshots in the magazine of parts that they would describe, and I think it was 3 because it was supposed to be like the monster eating Jennifer's body. Jennifer being the,
Really?
Yeah.
the protagonist,
Remember
girlfriend.
that worm thing.
Yeah, and you couldn't see much of anything in the screenshot, so my brain would make up these horrible images.
Right.
And I remember up until a few years ago, I was still freaked out by that game because I had still never played it
Yeah.
until I actually bought it online. And
You never
then-
played it
Dude.
until he played it.
Right.
But what about you? What?
Scariest game?
Yeah.
It's probably a 2-way tie.
Mario. I was like,
Super Mario
shit, when he
World.
jumps over those things, I don't know if he's going to fall straight down.
He's like,
And
Okay.
Duck Hunt.
right.
Tetris
Tetris, yeah. That long bar, man. Oh.
and Dr. Mario.
Right.
No, it's probably a 2-way tie between Diablo and Resident Evil 2. Well, actually, I'm going to say 3.
3.
Because Nemesis scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. That guy to this day still scares the crap out of me.
Really?
Yeah, the big, huge guy,
Well,
Nemesis.
I'm going to go ahead and Google an image for that for you. Oh, I'm on something else.
Oh, dang it, dude.
I remember by the time 3 came out, okay,
I mean,
you know how when you aim at a fear, you confront it, and eventually start to adapt to it, you're not scared of it any longer?
Right.
When the first Resident Evil came out, I was about 9 or 10 when I first played it. I used to have nightmares about hearing the zombies walk, like in my house, that squishy grinding noise.
Like they just walk through a mud pile.
Right,
or
like
something.
muddy buckets,
Yeah,
remember?
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
it was after you turned the game off is when it started to get creepy. Because, everyone would go to bed and I'd be awake in my bed waiting to hear zombies walk around. Because they just magically appear, those zombies.
Right.
Especially when everyone else falls asleep and you're still awake. Then they appear.
That's the only time.
Aaron's awake. Let's go.
So, by the time I had beat the first one, and I was ready for the second one, but it wasn't out yet. I was ready to play it, you know what I'm saying? And I played the second one, and I just thought it was neat, the second one. By the time the third one came out, the gorier it got, the better I liked it.
Yeah.
I was
Absolutely.
so far past being scared of especially Nemesis.
So were you more like disengaged with like the whole zombie vibe?
Yeah.
And just more engaged with like the gore and that would kind of freak you
being like a young preteen.
out? Yeah.
No, you know what really creeped me out about him? All the situations in the game where you're given the choice, like, do you stay and fight him or do you run away?
Yeah.
I always tried to run away, but you never could, only
That's-
but like the first time or something.
Yeah, that's like a whole other element of like scariness and frustration.
And
It's like you get a choice and you're like,
You
I
click
don't
that
want to
choice
fuck
and
it
you
up.
expect to run away, and then next thing you know, he's grabbing you and throwing you halfway across
Right,
the room and just
yeah.
like doing that big creepy huge guy walk where he just creep me out. Like
I
even
mean, if
looking
that
at
was
pictures.
real life, I would just go in a ball.
Yeah, I would.
I don't want to do this anymore.
I mean, yeah, he completely creeped me out. And then Diablo 1 still had that scare factor because I was young. I was, I remember when I got the game, I was about like 12 or 11 before I finally got it. I mean, it was already out for a few years.
I think, that's another like creepy game. I didn't play it as much though, because like
By today's standards,
Oh,
it
yeah.
probably isn't creepy, but
Well, that goes back to what makes it scary.
exactly.
Would
I
it
mean,
be?
I was a kid, and
Well, I mean, let's say we got a kid to play it nowadays. Do you think he would be scared of it? If you could put him in the same scenario you were in, where he plays it by himself, he's not talking to his buddies, he doesn't hear mom in the kitchen making his fucking food, you know what I'm saying? The dog's not barking in the background, he's alone.
I
He's
feel
in
like
his
kids
room.
are just so
Atmosphere.
exposed to electronics and games and computers. I mean,
Right.
I
Well,
feel
'cause,
like
nowadays
it's just normal to them.
Yeah.
I feel like, because I mean, when we first got a computer, my mom would let me play on the thing like for maybe half an hour a day, and then other than that, it was go outside. So I mean, when I was on it, it was all new to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe not as scared as I was because I'm a freaking crybaby, but I don't know.
So you're saying because kids are getting computers at a younger age, they wouldn't be...
Maybe
because
that
like
plays
they're
a factor
exposed to
into
it a lot
yeah.
more. You know what I mean? Like nowadays, it's.
But that's like
But-
saying, because I have internet, I'm no longer scared of scary movies.
No, yeah, but I mean, by today's standards, just in terms of movies and TVs in general, what they're allowed to get away with, it's
Well,
just
I'm
showing
talking about a kid.
scare factor.
You know, like most kids aren't allowed in movies that are really, rated R movies in the theaters and things.
Yeah.
I'm not talking
feel
about
like it's
like
a
a
little more
15-year-old.
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
talking like, how old were you? Say
I don't
again.
know, what, 11, maybe 10
I'm
or
talking,
11,
I'm
12.
talking like 11 or 12-year-old.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe not quite as much, but
You think
But
it
close.
because of the graphical difference?
that probably
would find
plays a
it more
huge factor.
amusing, rather-
Probably. They think, look at it and think, wow, people used to play this?
See, I would think
Wow.
that at first,
Right.
and then the kid would get into the game. And
Because
when you
it's
get
actually a
in
baller game.
going back to what you were talking about,
Yeah.
Anil, you were talking about atmosphere. He's alone.
Yeah.
He's got the headphones on. They're cranked up. He's not playing with his friends online. You know what I'm saying? He's by himself.
Dude, yeah.
It's alone. It's, Friday night.
It's me
I-
still
I-
on a Friday night. It's still me on a Friday night. And it's Saturday
think-
here. What are we doing? Saturday night here. We're still talking.
That's true.
I think it would stand true.
I don't know.
That they would be.
Yes, I do. I honestly think that.
I
I would
I
agree,
don't.
but not to the exact same extent. I think it'd be
Yeah.
pretty close, but not quite as much.
But
I'd agree with you.
I just feel like we've been saying is like the whole like standard. You know what I mean? Like we have games that are like, I mean, I know Slender really isn't like the creepiest game, but there's things that are like that. They're like a lot of jump scares, so they're so used to that. But I guess I can understand.
It's more like nightmare material.
Well, I'm saying the 11, 12-year-old hasn't played games like Slender, hasn't played Resident Evil. He hasn't played,
and it's not like a jump scare.
Doom.
It's more like a nightmare material.
Right.
It's kind of like I don't want to go to the next level.
Like the images will just burn into your brain and dream about
your imagination will always be more terrifying than reality.
Yeah, I guess like if they weren't exposed to like any of the other stuff, they would be freaked out. Because, I mean, I wasn't really exposed to anything, like, super crazy. I mean, like, maybe I saw like movies that were scary, like The Exorcist or something like that, and I'd be like, oh, fuck, like...
We don't talk about that movie.
Yeah. No?
No.
Oh, man.
You want to talk about My Scary Kryptonite?
Oh, fuck.
You know, I asked you to turn it on vibrate. Did I not?
Who could be calling him? His only two friends are in the room with him right now.
It's actually Blake. Oh, snap!
He'll never be on this podcast.
Moving on.
Okay, so... But, counter argument on your side, I guess it doesn't really make a difference if it's a kid in this age if he's not exposed to certain things. So, you're right. They have to be exposed to... I say a kid's exposed and you giggle. Is that what you're...
Yeah. I didn't even realize, man. God damn it.
I tried to be professional about it, but it didn't work.
It didn't work. No,
not quite. Not until the second time you said it.
Never seen it. I'm already singed out.
Let's say they had seen at least what's on television. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it stands true? I mean, 11, 12-year-olds, they're not walking around going to rated R movies.
Yeah,
not generally.
But, yeah. I mean, but there's, like, they still have the whole internet, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's, like, a lot of things on the internet that would freak you out. You know
I still think it'll be close.
Yeah.
I just think when that kid is alone in, the same scenarios when you were playing, I think it would still creep him out. Because he would go to bed and he would have,
Yeah.
Because there's a game, and I wanted to do a playthrough of it eventually.
Yeah.
And it's called Martian Gothic.
Martian Gothic.
Okay, I think I already explained this game to you two. Where
emo aliens,
where an entire base on Mars goes completely silent. They get one message, and the end of it tells they say to send a 3-man crew, and they say stay alone, stay alive. So their 3-person team that you have to play as is everyone's separate. Mm-hmm. You have to switch between characters as you go. Okay. Now, the first thing you ever encounter is a dead body levitating in a hallway, and it communicates to the player using its mind, and it's talking to him, but it doesn't tell you what it says. The character just says, "I can hear him talking in my mind."
Yeah.
And every time you go near him, he just pushes you over, and he won't move. And later in the game, these dead bodies get up, and you can shoot them, but they don't actually stay down. They go down for a little bit, and they get back up. You could put 100 bullets in them, and they're always going to get back up.
Like the skeleton turtles from Mario.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like, what's his name? Dry Bones.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of, Dry Bones.
So, that, the fact that they're unstoppable makes that game terrifying. Like, it's hard to play. It's got the atmosphere. I mean, you're isolated, especially if you play it alone.
What system is it for?
PlayStation. And the graphics are horrible.
Really?
And yet it still creeps you the fuck out when you're playing it.
Yeah, okay.
Because everything's perfect. I mean, you feel threatened constantly. Because every turn, I mean, it's like a maze. Like every hallway is like 90-degree turns, can't see around the corners. Like even the save rooms have enemies in them that attack you every time you go in.
It's like it doesn't give you a break at all.
Right.
It's like that whole thing, like, I don't know if you guys get freaked out about this, is like, if I were to get chased and being upstairs, I feel like that would be the worst place to be chased, because I'd be like, oh god, I gotta like run up the stairs, like, I don't know.
Because you have to come back down the stairs.
Yeah, exactly, and that's like, it's like an obstacle you have to go through, like, continuously for a little bit, you know what I mean, like.
It gives you that feeling.
Yeah.
Because there's only like one hallway you have to go through. That's exactly what it does.
Like the camera angles, kind of like Silent Hill.
Like Resident Evil. It's still camera. It only reveals so much. Are you looking up images right now?
I am looking up images.
What was this called again?
Martian Gothic.
Martian Gothic.
Unification.
Unification.
So
unification.
I think even with the graphical advantage newer games have, I don't think that a lot of them could be as creepy as this old ass game.
Yeah.
Especially to someone who's never played games like, let's say this is the first one they play, they're gonna freak out.
Right.
They're not gonna know how to play it. They're not gonna know what to do because it even gets really complicated where you have to send items through tubes to other characters, and when you're switching characters and you're playing and the other two are inactive, they can get attacked.
Oh, really?
And you have to switch back. So there is crazy. No like.
So it's kind of like the Thing that we played a little bit of?
Kind of.
Where you can kind of switch. Well, could you switch the characters?
No. But it's got that whole, like, you never know. Yeah, you have to give them weapons. And
that's crazy.
So, I mean,
if we cover, like, stuff that we thought was scary back in the day, like, is there anything you guys would be considered, like, as scary as, like, old school games, like, nowadays? Or do you really think that whole genre, or, like, I don't know if you really consider scary a genre, or would you still consider any of the newer games scary? I don't really think so. I
really don't play a lot of newer games, to be honest.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying, I really don't play a lot of new games at all. Mainly, I don't have the money, I don't have the time.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't have the desire to have them just hold my hand and walk me through everything. Like, it just doesn't appeal to me anymore.
We'll talk about that another time.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, because we'll talk for a long time about it.
Oh, yeah.
But I think the last game I played that really freaked me out was probably Fatal Frame when that was new.
When we all played it together?
Not when we all played, but those times I played by myself.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this story. I was
not listening. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I was.
And that's all.
And that's right. So I rented it. I was dating a girl at the time. I was at her place, and she had a bedroom in her basement. Okay, and everyone in her house was asleep, and I mean it's pitch black in her basement. I mean the only lights at the stairway all the way across the house, and her bedroom. So I had to pee, so I have to go all the way through the basement. I paused Fatal Frame, and it's like a section of the game where there's constant whispering.
Yeah.
Because the girl I was dating totally passed out. She fell asleep.
Right.
And I go upstairs, I pee, and I'm dreading going back down and crawling to this basement. Right. And I'm going down there, and I can hear the whispering on the TV on my way back. And her door, it wasn't like, it was a cheap ass door, let's just say it. So it had gaps around the edges where the glow of the TV was shining through all like four edges of the door. Right. And I hear the whispering, and I'm like, fuck, I really don't want to open this door. I'm 15, so I'm like, fuck. So I gently open the door, and my girlfriend's not on the bed. And I'm like, fuck. And I look at the TV, and if you kept it paused long enough, I did not know this at the time, bloody handprints will pop up and disappear and keep popping up. I'm looking at it. I'm standing in the doorway. She's not there. She comes up behind me. She's like, hey. And I fucking jump out of my skin. Dude. I about had a fucking heart attack. Really? Fuck that game.
Yeah, that game is definitely a creepy ass game.
Do we still have the videos up for
They're on a different channel.
Yeah, I don't know where they're at.
We're gonna have to find and re-upload those if we can. Give our viewers.
I mean,
we did a camera like our faces.
I don't think he has the original footage.
Yeah, because I ended up reformatting and.
Yeah, that guy does that. He has to record all his stuff, and then he reformats, and he's like, "I don't have it, Jerry."
I'm pretty sure I backed it up in one of my other hard drives, but dude, I have so many.
Well, it's like, remember how we started Scenario B?
Yeah.
For Resident Evil? Yeah, he reformatted his computer. We lost everything.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Hey, man, listen, it's hard.
Yeah, it must be hard. Fucking A. Well, so
I want to do going back to the Fatal Frame thing, I want to do it for Halloween.
Okay.
I really want to, just stupid, dress up as, costumes or something dumb. And do a whole face cam thing.
That's not dumb.
That's not dumb at all. That sounds like fun.
You're dumb for thinking it's dumb.
What about you?
What about me?
No, his question. Newest game you've played that freaked you out? You just said you didn't play any really new games.
I gotta be honest. I don't know, because I haven't really played any relatively new games.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What about Diablo 3?
Not scary at all.
Dude, no.
Oh, don't even get me started on that POS. Oh, not scary at all.
Yeah.
You can give us a half-hour segment and we'll roast that thing up and down. Because it's warranted. It deserves it.
Yeah.
Freaking 15 years of production. Anyways, before I go off on a tangent, let's
man.
You want to
what else? Condemned was really good.
Oh,
that
dude,
was another one.
That was a good one.
And going back to your point of things that can actually happen, and that's why it's scary. I think that's why the first half of Condemned was really fucking scary.
I saw a game review on YouTube about that, and I watched it. It looked creepy as crap.
Nice.
You never played the first
Never
Condemned?
played any of them.
Oh,
no.
wow.
Dude,
Maybe
yeah.
we should just do it.
Yeah.
I'd do
Just
it.
to do it.
Would you?
I'd do it.
Nike?
I'd just do it.
Well, the first half has nothing to do with anything supernatural. As far as you know, you're following a murderer. That's it. Or a serial killer. I'm sorry. You know, there's a difference. So,
Sarcasm.
so, and the opposition is really just drugged up like homeless people. That's your opposition.
Chicago? No, just kidding.
So, I mean, that's kind of what makes it scary. Is it has nothing to do with anything supernatural at all.
I think kind of playing off with what Kyle was saying too is like putting yourself in that scenario. No, it's still not.
It
I hope so, because like the things are moving.
It looks like, I mean, your mute button is lit up.
Yeah, if it's on mute, it'll blink.
Let's hit it.
Anything, yeah.
Okay, yeah, you
Now
freaked me.
it's
I about had a
moving.
mini heart attack. I'm like, we talked this
that's
whole
why I've
time.
been like looking
and
and
your
like
fucking thing was on mute.
We had some good conversation.
Right.
All right, and we're gonna re-pick up now.
And what was I saying again?
But that's why it was scary. It was something like, it was like being a real cop through a condemned building, having to deal with real people
Condemned.
who will fuck your world up just for the sake of doing it.
And I think it's like putting yourself in that situation, like what Cal was saying, like that could happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like going in like a broken,
Condemned.
yeah, condemned building. Just being put in that situation, you know, and not knowing what to do. Would definitely freak
that
me
might
out.
also be why a lot of kids aren't really scared of newer games, besides them holding your hand and everything.
Right.
Is that younger people have a harder time critically thinking about things because they don't have a lot of.
That's because their electronics do everything for them.
Well, I'm saying critically, like they don't think deeper than the surface.
That's because
because
they've got Google. They don't have to think
They
the
don't.
surface.
They've
Well,
got goggle.
They don't have the
right?
life experience to have that
That's because they
relate
got
to.
the social media sites. Okay, I'm
So,
sorry. To
No,
interrupt
no, that's actually a good point. But you know,
love kids.
a kid's not gonna, you know, the whole shooting bums in the condemned building because they want to kill you thing ain't scary to a kid. They've never been in a, you know, in a situation like, not that I've been in a situation like that, but I can picture it. You know,
Yeah.
I've been in buildings like that, and I've been in confrontations with people. So in my brain, I can put them both together, and that's a scary situation to be in.
I think it's also like the more maturity of your brain too. Like as us being older, like in our 20s and whatnot, we kind of like see it as like, okay, this could be a possibility versus somebody that's like maybe like 14 or whatever. What are you doing?
Nothing, man. Get out of here. I'm
is
just on Google.
We're gonna edit this part out again.
Oh, it's okay.
Goggle?
It's a podcast.
Yeah.
I'm Googling boogers, if you really
Oh,
want to know. Hey,
man.
look, it's Obama picking his nose.
Gross.
I have boogers. All right, so
As you pick your nose.
I had an itch, first of all.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, I got an itch.
My brain is
What?
itching. All right, so
Damn it. Jesus.
okay, I gotta get off. This is fucking disgusting.
What did you expect?
It's like, I'm on the
I
weird,
expect
I'm on the
like
weird part of the
cartoons
internet
or
now.
something. I'm on that part of the internet again.
You turned off the safe filtering. You're gonna get all the real
All of a
stuff.
sudden, it's all like on that part where it's like, never mind.
Not what I expected.
Comics. Okay.
All right, so what do you hear? Okay, what do you hear all the time when people talk about scary games? like younger, like Call of Duty kids and stuff, what they talk about. Like,
I don't know. I don't hang around the junior high school very often.
420
well, you guys play that garbage. I figure you talk to them all the time.
No, we don't. No. we do a private chat.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
do not talk to them.
What I mean is, let me get an example.
Okay.
If you were to, go to a high school and ask a kid, hey man, what's the scariest game you think of? He's gonna go, fucking Dead Space. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
I really think Dead Space 1 was kind of creepy, but Dead Space 2 and 3, not so much.
now is that back to the confronting your fear? You adjust to it, and now it's not scary anymore, or do you think they just didn't try as hard?
I don't think that they tried hard enough. Just because it seemed like they were more focused on the story versus like trying to scare you. You know what I mean?
That's
Because
how
like
almost every video game is, though. They're more
Yeah.
focused on cinematics
Because,
and
like-
making it a movie instead of a game.
Correct.
That
Yeah.
completely murders any
But
scare factor out
that's
of it.
that's the whole mentality nowadays. You know what I mean? It's like
That's
you'd
what I'm
rather
saying.
watch
And
a
that's why I
movie
think
and-
It's a production.
99% of them, like any game nowadays, sucks. And I think a lot of people our generation think that because of that exact reason right there, even in scary games.
Yeah, but I think it's definitely just the generation because if
It
you play
is.
Mario, it's like you rescue a princess.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you
like
actually
nowadays,
play. You don't have
yeah,
to watch
yeah, but
cutscenes of 45 minutes with them telling a story and then you controlling the character in your linear storyline.
right.
You know,
yeah.
it's
They use simple conveyance
Yeah.
to describe the plot of the game to you.
But I mean,
very simple.
it's all about like you guys have been saying, like the whole generation change. You know what I mean? Like for us, it was like, oh man, this is like the craziest game ever. You know what I mean? And like nowadays, we grow up with like movies all the time, TV shows. That's been like such upping production value. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just saying right now, you take any one of those kids nowadays and give them 3 months to beat Ocarina at a time, and it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
Not
without
gonna happen.
without the internet.
Without internet or Google, not going to happen.
Yeah.
I'd bet money on it. Not going to happen because they're so dumbed
Yeah,
down.
well, that cracks me up when I hear people be like, "Yeah, man, I beat Call of Duty on like the hardest difficulty."
Right.
You're a fucking tool. You think that's hard? You stupid
Right.
asshole. That's not hard.
Right.
Oh, you got shot a couple times and you hit behind a rock or a building or a car and your health came back. Your health came back?
Right.
Fuck. Are you kidding me? Do you remember before health regenerated? Do you
Yeah.
remember how frustrating games used to be?
Resident Evil. I think of
Like,
think
well,
of games
okay,
based
old
on-
Resident, that's another thing.
the old
Older
one.
Resident Evil is still scarier than newer Resident Evil. Why is that?
I think it's because over time the whole zombie thing's been like overplayed. I guess.
You can still make zombies scary.
Yeah, but I mean,
It's a sense of urgency.
And if
It's
your health comes
lacking.
back just from you hiding somewhere, there's no urgency. You
Well,
can take your
and
time.
well,
you
we're
can-
saying in like Resident Evil 6, your health doesn't just come back.
Well, I
but
haven't
you're given the
played
tools though. Like it's not a true like to me it's not a true survival thing because like you're given like a whole machine gun and like 3 pistols and a machete ready to go. And like Resident Evil 1, you have like a pistol.
And you have to find everything.
Yeah.
Find, exactly.
Yeah.
And in the newer ones, when you kill an enemy, they drop fucking ammo. That never, ever happened. But you can't make an action game when you're shooting such when you need precision. You can't have an action game where they don't give you ammo.
Yeah.
They can't trap a player in a scenario where they have to shoot somebody far away to progress the story, but they have no more bullets.
Yeah.
Okay.
And plus they have the whole like co-op factor too, which is nice, I guess. But it's like
Strength in numbers.
Yeah, but I mean it's kind of like another
Which means you don't have to
function of
think
like
on your
holding
own.
hand. Yeah.
You have to
Which
think
is
on
why
your own,
kids
right.
are
Yeah.
stupider. Which is why for
Stupider.
They is more
That's
stupider.
why they is the stupidest group.
They is
Why-
the dumbesters ever.
Stupider is a word, right? They
They
are more
stupider.
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 They are more stupider than anyone.
They live in a town called Stupid. The population
I'm
is them.
Go ahead and edit that part out where I said stupider.
It's gonna be
Kinda
like some
defeated
like,
my case
more
right there.
sophisticated word like dumb. They are more dumber.
They are the most dumber.
They are the most dumberds.
Well, going back to games holding your hands. This is probably the biggest issue I have with newer games. That's why I've been playing on my old games for my Chill
Yes.
Games with Aaron series. Because I crave a challenge.
And there's no challenge to be found in
When
these games.
I was playing Tomb Raider, and it was on our videos. We deleted them, but it was still in there.
The new one, you mean?
Yes, the
360?
newest, the reboot, right.
Okay.
Where, I mean, you hit the little instinct button, and it tells you no matter where you are, like, go left. I was playing a game. I've been trying to remember for a couple days for this very conversation what I was playing. That literally, I'm walking down a hallway. I can only turn left, and the fucking subtitles come up and say "turn left."
Right.
No, left.
Oh,
man, he got you with that one. Wow. That's knee slap.
So, I mean, how stupid do they think people are? That that one guy who's doing this is like, yeah, man, Dave, you want that tutorial set up? And he's like, yeah, go ahead and set it up, John.
Let's go ahead and run it through the entire game.
Just run through the entire game, and don't let them think for themselves. We don't want them we want them to really like this game. And I think that's why we're having. It's so easy to dispute now. Well, that game was really good. It's game of the year. It's game of the year, bro. It's game of the year. Why? Because an idiot like you knows how to beat it.
Right.
Like
you're pointing at me
I'm
like,
just
God dang it, all right. I play Counter-Strike, there's not a lot of strategy to that one, but
And on that topic, the first game I mentioned earlier, Ocarina of Time, I go back to that one because it made you think.
Right.
They didn't tell you what to do hardly ever.
Right.
Like, I kind of hold that as a standard of challenging, because as a kid, you're right, they didn't hold your hand. You had to figure out, you had to run through frickin' open fields and whole towns trying to figure out where the hell you're gonna go.
The reason why they did it was because they didn't have the proper tools to be like a little pop-up thing saying, okay, well, you can go here or something like that.
Well, why they didn't do it in the past?
That's not why. I mean, it's the same as
tools.
like trigger points when dialogue pops up on the screen. They could have done that.
I mean, if you look through the consoles progressively, it's been getting easier and easier. Like you looking at old Nintendo games and how difficult
Dude, seriously,
some of those were.
Play an Atari game.
Yeah.
See how
They're
incredibly
fucking
difficult.
hard.
I'm sure it's so basic and vague you don't know what to do, you know what I mean?
Some of them you don't know, and that's why you need the manuals. Let me get on that tangent real fast. What the fuck happened to manuals?
Dude, I was just gonna talk about that actually. I miss having a book to like learn about facts and whatnot about
When
the
you're
character.
pooping.
When you're
When
taking
you're
a shit,
When you're
you
taking
grab
a
it.
dump.
Right. So
It's all about digital manuals now. That's what they do now. Oh, go to our website for a digital manual. Like,
back onto it. I love Resident Evil, but Resident Evil 6 didn't even come with a manual because the game they fucking know as soon as you put in the game they're gonna tell you everything you need to fucking do.
So it's almost like they incorporate the entire manual into the gameplay itself nowadays. Is that kind of what you're?
I'm getting that. Yeah.
Okay.
I was playing Harvest Moon for Super Nintendo the other day.
Fun game. I like
Okay.
it. Fun game.
It.
They don't tell you
Anything.
shit.
Really?
There's we'll put this up. We'll put this up starting now. So there's the menu, and there's a how to play section. Okay, you hit this, and all it does, no words pop up. It's literally a demo of the game being played, and it shows you him picking up like grass and throwing it. So it shows you how to pick up weeds. It shows you how to like cut grass and put it in a certain spot. How to feed the cows. And like it goes through all the seasons like a little cinema. It takes maybe 10 minutes to watch this whole thing. But it teaches you just in the 10 minutes everything you need to know about the game.
Really?
And in case you're that guy and you skip the how to play thing,
You're screwed.
you're screwed. All
About
it does,
10 minutes into the game, you're
it
screwed.
starts up and a guy tells you to talk to everybody in the town. Now, it's not telling you who in the town to talk to, who's the most important person, not go talk to the mayor and they'll tell you everything.
That radar
you
in
need
the
to know.
top right corner, see that big flashing light?
Exactly.
Run directly
It
to
doesn't-
it. Do not vary it from the path.
Right, it doesn't pull a
any
Grand
means.
Theft Auto and have like a letter where you're supposed to go.
Yeah.
Right.
Do not veer off this path for any reason ever.
And, I mean, there's like everything in like the stores looks like everything else. You know how we were talking about like Resident Evil, like the original Resident Evil, objects look way different that you can pick up. They look animated like the
brighter
character,
and animated,
where the backgrounds are pre-rendered, they're drawn, and they look way more detailed. It's like that, but the items are drawn into it, forcing you to really look at everything and examine everything, just to read a book about when to plant fucking corn.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like plant it in the fall, no plant it in the summer, or plant it in the summer, not the spring.
Yeah.
And it's just like, damn, I'm playing this game and I'm like, fuck, I haven't. The game never had a box that popped up. It was like, boop, hey, make sure to water your fucking plants every day, idiot. You know, it never tells you that stuff. It doesn't hold your hand at all.
They didn't have irrigation systems
that
automatically watered for you.
Right.
In fact, there's even a section of the game I didn't discover until after my first season of harvesting. And it's like a part in the mountains where like wood comes, like there's tree stumps you chop to get wood for like building things, and that stuff on your farm doesn't come back once you get rid of it. But if you go into this little mountain area, it always comes back every time you leave.
Right.
I didn't discover that until I was playing the game maybe 3 days.
Schlit.
And I finally decided to go there. So it's so much more rewarding when you're
you feel
the one.
Accomplished.
Right. I felt very accomplished, even though it's like the world's simplest game. I'm not saying it was fucking rocket science, but the way they taught me how to play it still made me feel like I was discovering how to. Right. I was discovering how to do it. And yet I played that fucking Tomb Raider, and I felt like I should have just put the controller down and watched it play. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Now, the original Tomb Raiders for PlayStation.
Oh, I love those.
Oh, I do too. The first 2 I had.
Yeah.
Where, they didn't hold your hand.
No, they didn't tell you shit.
I don't know. I said, here's a tomb. Go raid it. Figure it out.
Well,
hopefully
even if
big bosses don't kill you.
or the giant T-Rexes that come out of nowhere.
Yeah, hopefully they don't kill you and boulders smash you, but go figure it out.
Well, literally, in the new one, there's a puzzle involving wind. Okay, you have to open these. You have to open these windows, and like drafts come in and blow this thing. It's like counterweights and everything. And if you're standing there looking at it, I was just trying to figure out. I worked my way backwards from the goal. I was looking around to try and find out what order I needed to put things. And she literally interrupts my train of thought to narrate in her brain, "Oh, I need to make sure I open this window before I flip the switch on the counterweight, and I have to wait a certain amount of time."
Yeah.
It solved the fucking puzzle moments before I did. I was pissed.
I don't blame you.
Like, I felt gypped, to tell you the truth. Like, I like the game. It looks great. It's fun to play. It has that almost Batman, like the newer Batman games feel, where you have to go back and get things, and you get a new tool, like Metroid or something.
Right.
But it's not nearly as rewarding as popping in like Tomb Raider 2 or Revelations or Chronicles.
Let me ask you this then. What would you consider to be the most rewarding game that you've played? Like the most challenging?
Dark Souls.
You think? Yeah?
Without question.
Yeah. I've seen a couple of people like play that game, like stream it and whatnot, and they'll just like die at like just random shit.
And that's how you learn.
Yeah.
It takes you back to learning how to play a game without it holding your hand.
Good for them.
Right.
That's for 360, correct?
Yeah,
So it's for
360 and
PC.
PC. Yeah, it came out PC
Like
way
later on,
after, but yeah.
Might have to look into that.
Yeah.
It's like learning how to play a board game. You learn all the tricks to the board game after playing it for a really long time. What it does is it just, fuck, dude. Literally, it drops you at this one place. A bird picks you up and just fucking drops you, and you're left to your own devices. There's like 4 different ways to go. You have to pick the right one, because if you go down the wrong ones, you get your ass handed to you.
Right.
The whole idea of the game is to die. You die, and that's how you learn. So it took me like 9 months to get every achievement for it.
Really?
Yeah. And I wasn't even working then, so I was playing it hardcore. I put in over like 300 hours just on just playing this game, because there's a lot of farming in it too. Like you gotta make money.
Click souls and everything.
Right.
Oh,
that took up
we
most
know
of my
about
time.
monotonous farming, aka Diablo 3.
Right. They should call it Farm Simulator 2013 3.
3.
But Neil, how about you? What would you think is the most challenging, rewarding game that you've played? It doesn't have to be an old game; it can be new, whatever.
Dark Souls is fairly new.
Yeah.
Ooh, can I?
Yeah,
while you're thinking,
ahead. Yeah.
I also want to add the Sonic the Hedgehog series for Sega Genesis. One through Sonic 3 and Knuckles. When you connect the two, that was possibly my favorite Sega Genesis game ever.
Mm-hmm. It's a tough game, I'll be honest.
It's
Mario-esque but it's harder.
You can run through it as fast as you want and feel like you beat it, or you can get all the Chaos Emeralds and then you get Super Sonic and you're like, oh, okay, cool, I did something.
Right.
But then they drop the whole Super Emeralds thing on you, and you gotta basically go through the blue sphere thing again, but they're way harder, so it makes it feel like you're working towards another goal, because it's even more difficult.
Right.
And then once you get all the Super Emeralds and you can turn into Hypersonic,
holy shit.
that's when the real ending of the game comes. It doesn't even tell you like, oh, hey, beat the game again and get the real ending, going back to holding your hand. I had just gotten them and I was like, oh, I'll just beat the last level and see how fast I can do it. And then all of a sudden here comes level 14 and I'm flying through space trying to fight Dr.
Just make up another
Robotnik.
level really quick.
And it blew my mind as a kid. I was like, all this hidden shit I never would have found if I didn't just goof around and play the game.
Yep. Right. But I think, like, for me, I get going back to it, it would have to be like somewhere along with the Metal Gear Solid series. Like Metal Gear Solid 1 was like probably the most rewarding one that I've played from start to finish.
That's still one of the best PS games ever made, in my opinion.
Yeah,
It's up there. It's top 3.
It's in my top 5 favorite games.
I just remember dying a lot, but learning in the process, which is fun. You know what I mean?
And that's what it should be, but that's not how it is anymore.
It's like, do you feel like nowadays, or like it used to be harder back in the day, you know, and it was rewarding to finish it, and then nowadays it's been replaced with like trophies, achievements, all this other things. You know what I mean? So like they don't necessarily think about like the toughness of the game, but just getting that achievement as
they'll
a
make
reward.
one little aspect of the
yeah,
game
exactly,
hard
like
just
collecting
so
5 certain things that might
or beat
get you out of the way.
X amount of time.
Okay, I see that. But if you're really into them, like me, that makes me feel like I got more out of the game.
Yeah.
There are a lot of games I never would have played on, super extra mega fuck you in the face hard.
Right.
If there wasn't an achievement for it.
Yes.
And then
what difficulty is that?
Super ultra mega fuck you in the face hard.
Hard. I don't need that very hard. Like, oh man.
So I would never even think of playing the game over again on an even harder difficulty.
Right.
Unless I was getting something out of it. And
do you feel the quality of the gameplay is still up to par, what you would expect?
I find it like I know the game better afterwards, because going back to dying, and you learn how to actually beat that boss rather than knowing after 3 punches, then he pounds his chest, shoot him in the face, and do that 3 times and you beat the boss.
Yeah.
Now you have to figure out, oh shit, because like on easy or normal, there's a few times you can get hurt. And it's all right.
Yeah.
You'll just heal yourself or hide behind a rock, wait for your health to come back.
Wait for the red jelly around my eyes.
Right, exactly.
The red jelly. But in super ultra mega fuck you in the face hard, 1 hit kills you.
Right.
You have to learn the exact patterns of that game.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, when people would beat games, I would always hear my older god cousin. This guy, that's not important. Yeah. This guy I knew.
Relative nor friend. Just a guy.
This fucking guy I knew. He would always say every time he beat a game, he mastered it. Yeah, I mastered that game. And that felt weird to say.
Right.
You didn't fucking master that game. You beat it 1 time.
Right.
Like, if you beat it on super ultra mega fuck you in the face hard, you fucking mastered that game.
Right.
Like, you have
to
to
go...
go...
the credits.
Right.
I have mastered this game.
Like, if you have to go through certain parts without getting hit, what do you think that is? It's perfection. You've mastered that part.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you can do that throughout the entire game, you've mastered that game.
Right. I mean, it goes back to the whole thing is like, it was hard back in our day when we played games, but they've replaced it with achievements. You know what I mean? I mean, not necessarily being hard, but that whole reward aspect of it.
Well, let me ask you this. In Metal Gear Solid 1, would you go back and do the interrogation part on a harder difficulty just for the sake of doing it? Just so you can get, the bandana at the end of the game, even though you didn't know the bandana was there.
Yeah. I mean, I would... yeah.
That changes everything, doesn't it? Knowing you're going to get a reward at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Or the dog tags in Metal Gear Solid 2.
You're not doing it for the fun of it anymore. You're doing it to get something out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Reward.
You know what I mean?
That's like the achievements.
Right. It wasn't like,
It's to challenge.
It's just,
I don't see
a new
the
form of it. It's more like in your face, like, hey, you played the game for 5 minutes. Here's an achievement for playing
But
it.
you think it goes into how our society is now, where it's instant gratification.
Yeah.
It's
Instant
I'm not doing this unless you give me something.
Right.
Do you think that ties into it?
Yeah, I think that's heavily into, because we all have the mentality of a gnat. You know what I mean? If things are consistent and for 10 seconds, we're I need a change. You know what I mean? I need a different thing about it. You know what I mean?
I bet the viewers didn't know they're going to get a psychology lesson as
right.
well in this podcast, did they?
All right, well, tune in for Dr. Aaron Collin today.
Tomorrow we'll talk about anatomy and kinesiology.
Right.
Hey, I found my penis.
Right. So, what's the shape of your poop? What? All right.
Anyway.
Right.
Well, it's like I had 2 points. What were you talking? You were talking about
layup, got 2 points.
Right. Yeah.
You were talking about before we got on the instant gratification thing.
Well, I mean, so the whole achievement thing.
So
yes.
Achievements. Some people do it for bragging rights. Myself, I see it as a challenge. Can I beat it on super ultra mega fucking face hard? Can I get 5 of those objects? You know what I'm saying? It's making me play that game, figuring out the quickest way to get the achievement, to get this. In the process, I may not be learning the game. I'm learning how to get this goal inside the game.
Goal.
Right.
And I think... Do you remember when there used to be cheats in games?
Yeah.
You remember
yeah.
that? When was the last time you heard about like entering a code at the title screen on these new games? Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how easy they are.
don't
Programmers
need 'em.
don't even feel sympathy for you. They're like, you know,
No, it's like nowadays.
No more 30 lives.
right. There's no
right.
Konami code
Because,
on
I mean-
Contra or on Metal Gear Solid.
Well, it's always based on like checkpoints and random
Save
saves already. You know what I mean?
points,
So
yeah.
it's like,
Every
they don't
3
really
minutes,
need it.
every room you clear, we got to
Well,
save for you just in
I'm
case you
saying
die.
like don't enter a code to get like the hand cannon gun.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like
Right.
Gears of War, here's this secret gun. The only way to get it's input in this code that nobody knows.
Right.
And it shoots fucking like chickens. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
Right.
like something cool, like hidden shit like that is no longer existent.
Yeah. I feel like it's also with the whole I can't think of the word, implementation. Yeah. Of just like the whole like having a computer and be able to mod things yourself.
Sure.
Like everything on PC, you can like make your own program or own mod and put it on there, and you can have like instant big head, or you can have like a gun that's infinite bullets. You know what I mean? Versus like consoles
True.
where it's really limited. You know what I mean? So I mean, with the whole thing of technology growing as fast as it is, you know, it's really no need to do anything else.
I think what you just said explained the reason why I'm more of a console gamer than a PC gamer.
Yeah.
Because
So many cheats
it's
out there.
it's the way that the designers and the programmers and everybody involved meant for that game to be played.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
This
saying?
would be like a whole other debate, like between like console or PC.
No, I don't want to get into
Yeah.
that because PC definitely has its advantages.
Yeah.
There's no question. Because some of those mod stuff could be fun. Remember we
Oh,
talked
yeah.
about the Dragon Ball Z mod for Counter-Strike?
Wait,
You remember that way back in the day?
I think so. Yeah. Where they had like the hair and
Yeah.
whatnot. Yeah.
That shit's awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're not going to find that on a console.
Right.
Unless you pay like 182 Microsoft points. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? It's,
I don't know, man. Shit be crazy.